Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the community once again. Let me thank you first of all for stopping by to watch this particular video. Okay, now Nigerians, they have actually been warned. Okay, Nigeria as a state has actually been warned, but you people don't actually understand this. Let me actually tell you, Nigeria has actually been warned, and in case of anything, trust me, the miserable lives in Nigeria are actually going to get, they are going to get, affected negatively. And why am I actually saying this? Nigeria has actually been warned indirectly, and some people don't actually know. So they're actually calling or pushing what Mr. Tinubu to make sure that he invade Burkina Faso. Let me actually give you some updates that is actually coming from Ecowas straightforward, and it's actually going to confirm this. Watch this video till the end, okay? Now, if we actually happen to be a Pan-Africanist or a patriotic African who actually wants Africa to get, a complete sovereignty and independence where we can actually manage our own resources and other stuff like the AES was no state, then make sure that you're going to join this community by liking this video first of all. Secondly, subscribe and turn on your notification bell, because that is what we do here in this particular communities. Thank you so much for your contribution and support, okay? Now, Nigeria has actually been warned indirectly, and let me actually explain this with what's not fact here. Okay, now recently we all, we are all aware of what actually was happening in Burkina Faso, or what is actually going on now between Burkina Faso and Nigeria. Okay, now according to official updates, 11 military personnel have actually been detained. Okay, from Niger. They actually invaded or violated an airspace in Burkina Faso, which actually belonged to the AES bloc. Okay, and because of this violation, they actually forced the aircraft, the military aircraft, which belongs to Nigeria, to land in Burkina Faso, specifically in Bobo Dioulasso. Okay, and according to investigation that has actually been released. Okay, I mean the investigation from the Burkinabe military intelligence, they say that particular plane is not actually an ordinary plane, which means that it has a system. It was actually carrying surveillance system, or should I say it was machines that they actually wanted to use to scan, to capture the map or whatever of Burkina Faso, so that they can actually transfer that particular detail or information or data to the colonial master in France. Remember, France has actually been the colonial master for Burkina Faso, Mali, Niger. You understand me, ladies and gentlemen? And these countries, to say they actually form this particular block here, they have actually introduced, a law that if they actually get any aircraft from any country, enter or violate their airspace without getting authorization, they can actually make sure that they shoot it down. So what some Nigerians are actually doing now is that if you actually go to some various social media handles, social media, what they actually doing is that they actually treating, they have actually been threatening Captain Ibrahim Traore that if he doesn't release those soldier men together with their aircraft, else blah 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 blah, they actually threaten the man. Trust me, ladies and gentlemen, this particular block here, the AES, they are sovereignty, they have sovereignty, they have complete independence. I'm actually a Ghanaian, I'm actually from Ghana, ladies and gentlemen, so I love Nigerians and anything about Nigeria. But the fact is that some of you, the way you're actually pushing Mr. Tinubu to invade Burkina Faso by force using troops, it is not actually good. And remember, you people have actually been fighting Boko Haram terrorists. You people have actually been facing what we call terrorism every single day, where these people actually, they are massively against the Christian communities, and let me say hundreds or thousands of lives have actually lost from this particular dirty development from the terrorists side. You understand me? So why don't you use that particular same energy to fight the problems that you have in your country? Instead, you want to push Mr. Tinubu to invade Burkina Faso and just just raise another tension between you and then the AES. And trust me, these people, they are the best. The AES happen to be the epitome of revolution or sovereignty in Africa. That is the epitome of sovereignty in Africa. So, and also remember that they also have allies like China, North Korea, Russia. Even recently, allegedly, Russian was from President Vladimir Putin has actually issued a warning to Nigeria that in case of anything, Nigeria is actually going to suffer with consequences. So you can actually see that Nigeria has actually been using, they actually using the Western countries, or powers have actually been using Nigeria as a tool against his brothers and sisters here in Africa, most especially these particular AES, And trust me, if Mr. Tinubu, who happened to be the leader and a defender of the state, or Republic of Nigeria, if he changes, modernize and revolutionize his mindset that he's actually going to act the direction that the ES countries actually was going. Okay, trust me, ladies and gentlemen, Africa will actually be a different international was a body for the rest of the world. Okay, so trust me, Nigeria happen to be the giants of Africa, and of course, when you actually was champion this into reality, like what the AES actually was doing, trust me, Africa is actually going to be a different distance, because when it actually comes to ECOWAS, these people, they actually was champion. So, ladies and gentlemen, now guess what ECOWAS they actually was doing now. ECOWAS has actually done something, and I think that we have to discuss it, and understand, you see, guess what happened, recently in Benin, where coup d'etat actually was failed. Mr. Tinubu actually got commanded. Okay, he was actually commanded by the France president to invade the country with troops to make sure that they stabilize with the country. Understand? Because now it's left with Cote d'Ivoire, Togo, and also Benin here in West Africa that they France doesn't actually want to lose them, because since they have actually lost Burkina Faso, Mali, Niger, and other colonies, should I say colonies? Yes, here in Africa, they have actually lost a lot economically and in terms of resources. So they actually want to maintain the 3 ones here in West Africa. So when it actually wasn't happening, the development happened, the coup d'etat development happened in Benin. He actually commanded Mr. Tinubu, because Benin and Nigeria, they actually share border, right? So he actually commanded him to enter or to invade the country with troops to stabilize the country and to make sure that power is actually seized back for the the sitting president now. Now ECOWAS, okay, they actually call for isn't and state emergency or whatever. Now they actually held a particular meeting in Abuja specifically, and do you know what they have actually discussed? This is it. Okay, ECOWAS vowed to forge proactive and forceful united front against coups and instability in West Africa. At the 68th ordinary session in Abuja, ECOWAS leaders adopted a decisive stance to halt. Halt means stop. Okay, to halt unconstitutional power seizures, combat terrorism, and strengthen regional security. The Nigerian president said they actually want to make sure that they halt any unconstitutional. They are calling it unconstitutional power seizures. Okay, the coup, the military leaders who actually get up and seize powers from their, the civilian leaders. And the problem is that, or the question that we have to actually ask these people is that, look, what is actually causing this coup d'etat here in Africa? It is very simple. It's because the civilian leaders, they actually not serving the people's interest. It's because the civilian leaders, they actually serving the interest of their colonial masters, instead of them to nationalize their natural resources that they can actually use to make sure that they create opportunities that can simply unleash, let me say that, potentials in our African youth. They are rather, should I say that they actually taken from us to feed their colonial masters. And this is something that is actually also impoverishing the people here in Africa, most especially here in West Africa. So things are not actually going on well, at all. You can actually see in a Nigerian here in Ghana, we actually have a lot of Nigerians who have actually came here. And then if you see the kind of jobs that these people are actually doing, Charlie, they're hustling on. Though we are also hustling, but sometimes when you actually see a foreigner from another country who is actually residing here in Ghana, and then the kind of job that these people actually were doing, trust me, ladies and gentlemen, you become discouraged. This is very discouraging, and this is very painful. So our leaders, the question that they have to ask themselves and fix the situation is that, what is actually causing this? Problems. We are not able to do what the people want. So do you think that if these would leaders who have actually been ostracized from or whose powers have actually been seized from Burkina Faso, Niger, and other African countries like Madagascar, do you think those were civilian leaders, they were actually doing good? Do you think that the military leaders will have actually taken powers from them? No, because they have actually been failing, and our country is actually going backwards every single day. Ladies and gentlemen, so instead of ECOWAS to sit down and make sure that they fix the causes of these coup d'etats, they are rather chasing another front line or another format to make sure that they deal with coup d'etat leaders, which is not the best. That is not the best key to open peaceful and stability here in West Africa. The best thing is that go after the interest of the people and make sure that the people actually safe. Now, Mr. Tinubu, your country, Nigeria, has actually been facing terrorism where people have actually lost their lives. And of course, instead of you to deploy troops to go after them and make sure that they deal with this with terrorist groups, you are not actually doing it. But the moment you heard that a coup d'etat actually happened in Benin, you deploy with your troops to go and fight innocent people over there. So are you telling Africans that, look, what this particular coup d'etat that actually what happened in this thing, it actually happened on account of what negativity, on an account of what failure, on account of, I don't actually know how to say the English. You can put this at the comment section for me. Okay, so you can actually see, get to know the cause of the condition and change the cause. If you try to change the condition, the cause will bring another result, which is the condition. So don't always change the condition of the cause. Change the cause of the condition, and definitely the moment you change the cause of the condition is going to get changed. So ECOWAS, I don't actually know. Every single the African Union, this particular bloc is actually meant to bring Africans together. But so far, what have they actually done? ECOWAS, okay, what is your purpose here in West Africa? This ECOWAS has actually been established decades ago, and of course, we don't actually see any improvement that these people have actually brought to lives here in West Africa. You understand me? So just sit down, analyze, and identify the problem. What is actually causing this coup d'etats here in Africa, and just to go after the causes of it. Once you actually solve it, look, Tinubu, you are of my grandpa age, or range. Age was range. So I respect you so much. You understand me? I pray I can actually grow up to the level that you are now. So grandpa, what you are doing, please go after the needs of the people of your country. Yes, look at how Nigerians have actually been displayed in many African countries, most especially here in Ghana. If you go to any corner here in Ghana, you will find a Nigerian. Why? Because they feel like the country is not actually stable enough, and they feel like economically everything in Nigeria, is almost backfired, or is always going away that is not actually comfortable at all. So, Mr. Tinubu, learn how you can actually simply identify, you and ECOWAS, you should learn how to identify our problems and make sure that you go after our problems, solve our problems for us, and there will be nothing like coup d'etat in Africa. This is what you have to do as a president and a member for the ECOWAS. So ECOWAS must do this, and of course, this coup d'etat will stop. Else, anything that they're actually doing, trust me, it's actually going to end negatively.